We often say we're an island nation, but Britain's also a nation of islands. Nobody's sure how many, but there are probably about 1,000 around our coast. I've always wanted to know what life is like on our most far-flung islands.
They look so appealing and exciting. I can't wait to get on them.
I'm on a journey through a hidden Britain. From the rugged, remote islands of the north,
That's fantastic.
to the wild and wonderful islands of the west. But this time, I'm going south. I'll be visiting some of Britain's most exclusive and exotic islands.
Oh my God. Oh.
And encountering all manner of island life.
Hey Rossford, we did it.
Good.
And I'll be travelling beyond Land's End to the very last outpost of the British Isles.
I don't like this.
The islands along Britain's south coast have a warmer climate and more sunshine hours than anywhere else in the country. They also have one other thing in common. They are all, in one way or another, havens from the stress of mainland living in the 21st century. I'm so keen to get started on this final leg of my journey that I'm setting off before dawn.
Well, here we are, leaving my home county of Dorset. That's Weymouth behind us there. We're heading off to the southern islands, next stop Guernsey.
The Channel Islands of Guernsey and Jersey are renowned as tax havens for the seriously rich. Between them, the islands have a higher income per person than mainland Britain or even America. Guernsey lies 75 miles south of Weymouth and 30 miles west of Normandy in France. Covering an area of about 25 square miles, it has a population of 65,000.
It's a very different approach than it is to other islands. It looks like it looks like you're just putting into a country, which I suppose you are. That's quite exciting coming to a new island.
Robert Sillars is a successful businessman. He moved here 15 years ago to marry and start a family.
You know, I know your wife was from here, but was there no trepidation about living on an island? Because it's very different to living on a mainland, isn't it?
I guess I never really thought about it.
You didn't?
No. But it was obviously the right move. I mean, I can't think of a better place to bring children up.
Robert was recently elected Deputy Minister of Commerce. One of his jobs is to encourage the super rich to move here.
As the boat was coming in, I was sort of thinking, it didn't look like we were approaching an island. It looked like we were approaching a country, you know.
Right.
Which I guess is...
Well, we are a mini country,
Yeah.
in a way. And we're responsible for everything except for our foreign policy and defence.
Robert and his colleagues in Parliament can set Guernsey's laws as well as its low level of taxes.
This is sort of typical Victorian type buildings of the old St Peter Port town.
It's nice, it's sort of continental, isn't it, as well, isn't it?
And all the street signs are French, and throughout the whole island it's all French. So it's a mixture of English and French.
But one thing which is neither French or English is the speed limit, a maximum of 35 miles per hour on the whole island, despite the fact that every other vehicle seems to be a high-performance car. I want to meet somebody who's made the move here recently. Robert suggested a multi-millionaire who could have chosen to live anywhere in the world but came to Guernsey.
Hi, Martin. John Clunes. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What a fantastic garden.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, no.
How far do you go back?
The whole
Peter Tom
thing's
is a
been
self-made man.
It's about to-
He started out with just a quarry in Cornwall and built a hugely successful company which he eventually sold for £2 billion.
You know, I had real learning difficulties as a child in that I wasn't able to read or write. My writing's still awful, but weirdly numbers made sense, and I was very competitive as well, so I actually really resented people being clever. And I think, you know, having met lots of people who've been lucky enough to do well business-wise, and
Yeah.
most of them I think got chips on their shoulders, and I think, you know,
Really?
for me I think I had, you know, desperate to sort of prove myself.
He's certainly done that, and he doesn't mind letting people know. His personalised number plates cost £50,000 each.
I've never been in a Bentley before.
Oh, there you go.
Blimey. Put paper down.
No, never at all.
Peter lives here partly because of the friendly tax regime, but also because it's in commuting distance of his office in London. But he doesn't have to cram into overcrowded trains or sit in endless traffic jams. Such stress-free commuting comes at a price. One of these will set you back a cool £8 million.
Woo! God, it's real acceleration.
As a young man, Peter played rugby for the Leicester Tigers. He liked the club so much that when he sold his business, he bought it.
If you were going to see a rugby match at
Yes.
Leicester, how long would it take you?
To Coventry is about an hour.
To Coventry,
yeah, I go into Coventry.
An hour?
Yeah. And coming back in the evenings, I can actually sort of leave the ground about 6:30 and be home just after 8 o'clock. So it works really well.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
But the fuel alone for a trip to the mainland and back will cost you over £2,000.
It's just a really different flying
It
experience
is.
than I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's like a fighter plane with leather upholstery,
That's
really.
right. Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, I'll get one.
With its low taxes and continental cafe culture, Guernsey makes a perfect playground for the jet set. But there is a darker side to the island. The affluent community is a target for drug smugglers, mostly from Britain.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
You're
thanks.
Rob.
I certainly am, sir.
Hi, Martin.
Hello, Martin.
How do you do?
Rob Prow is Guernsey's top drugs buster.
See if we can find you some smugglers.
The Leopardess is Rob's pride and joy. Kitted out with state-of-the-art surveillance equipment and capable of speeds of up to 25 knots, it's able to track and outrun all but the most determined smuggler. With thousands of boats coming in and out of Guernsey each year, the island is particularly vulnerable to smuggling.
Guernsey alone's got 40 miles of coastline. I think there's something like 45 places where boats can moor and anchor or come ashore around the island.
Right.
So we're reasonably successful over here. In the last 10 years, I think we've convicted something like 276 people in our Royal Court, which is our version of the Crown Court.
Guernsey is much tougher on crime than the UK. The maximum sentence for possession of a Class A drug here is 14 years, as opposed to 7 on the mainland.